It's 11:20 on BBC Sussex and BBC Surrey with Danny Pike. This will be fun. We're going to bring you some live music on the radio station in just a second because Seaford College Choir have been chosen to sing at tomorrow night's gig of Gary Barlow at the Bournemouth International Arena. So it's a 20-strong choir from the school, and a few of them are coming this morning to sing for us. Now, the bulk of the choir are next door, and they're gearing up to give you... They're having a little rehearsal at the moment, so we won't eavesdrop on that in case they're out of tune, haven't quite got it right yet. But before that, let's speak to Sarah Reynolds, Head of Voice and Choirs at Seaford College, and to Becky and Ben, who are both going to be singing tomorrow night as well, and for us in a few moments' time. So, Sarah, let's start with you. You're head of choirs. How many youngsters get involved in singing in choirs at the school?
Lots and lots and lots. We have, I think we have 5 choirs at the moment. We have about 80-something choristers. I mean, we have lots of singers who also do other sorts of singing as well as choirs, but the choirs are very, very popular.
Do you have to strong-arm the youngsters into it these days?
Not often. No, we don't. Truly, we don't. It's some of them are really by audition only, but we do have a very big senior choir, which is for anybody to. It's an all-comers choir for anybody to join, and they love that last thing on a Friday.
Why is that? Because I would have thought most young people you speak to in the streets these days, you say, "Hey, come along, join a choir," they would like run away very rapidly.
Singing, absolutely not. Singing is having a massive resurgence and a huge popularity. Actually, due to programmes like the choir, the Gareth Malone programme and various things like that, and of course to people like Gary Barlow, who wrote this piece of music that we're singing for you today, especially for the Jubilee, for choirs, for the Military Wives Choir.
This is the one that we saw Gary going round recording all over the world, different voice parts for.
Yes, absolutely, yes. And so we're very, very honoured to have been able to pick up that same piece of music and sing it with him tomorrow night.
Becky.
Hello.
You'll be singing with Gary Barlow tomorrow.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. I think my dad was probably more excited than I was.
He's a big Take That fan, is he?
Yeah, big Take That fan. He's a Northerner.
What are young people now? You're what, 16, Becky? What do you make of somebody like Gary Barlow? Because sort of 20 years ago, people like your music teacher here, who's all grown up, was probably a bit silly about Take That and the various members of the band. What do people think about Gary Barlow, young people today?
Well, I still like Gary Barlow. I don't think he's uncool or anything. I grew up listening to Take That, and I think a lot of kids our age have, really, so I think I'm used to it.
Because he himself, when I saw him at the Brighton Centre, was it last year or the year before, he said himself he was dreadfully uncool for a few years around the early noughties when he was sitting at home just eating cake and being very chubby. You know, I think he kind of understands that he kind of didn't have much in the way of credibility, but he's completely reinvented himself, hasn't he?
Yeah, I definitely think with the Diamond Jubilee thing, that got everyone back on his side.
And hard work. And programmes obviously like, you know, his TV appearances, but hard work. That's what I always tell the youngsters. You know, the peaks and troughs of being a professional musician have to be taken on board by all young people. If the business they want to go into is being a professional musician, there are ups and there are downs, and he has worked doggedly to continue his up. And at the moment,
there was no doubt he was always a great songwriter. It's just that Robbie went off stratospheric, didn't he? And Gary got
talk to me about Robbie.
I won't talk to you about Robbie because we could be here for some time. I want to hear from Ben here. Hello, Ben. Welcome.
Hello.
How old are you?
I am 11 years old.
Okay, and when you're singing the choir at school, what kind of music are you normally singing?
Well, when I first joined, we were kind of singing pop and jazz, but now we're kind of toning it down.
Okay, so not so much of that, more of the choral music.
Yeah.
And do you particularly like that sort of music? What is it that makes that attractive for a young man to sing?
The fact that it can be sung by all ages, mostly. And it's quite easy to learn as well.
And this thing tomorrow night, backing up Gary Barlow, when he does sing as part of his solo concert down in Bournemouth, what do you think about that? How have you been preparing for it?
Well, we've had lots of rehearsals, and most of us have got MP3 players that we use to listen. So we use that to get like the right tuning.
And have you been practicing over the Easter break? Because most of the schools have been off now. So you've been into school.
Yeah, we've done 2 rehearsals.
Yes.
Well, that's got to take something to get you lot into school while on school holidays. The carrot of being able to sing with Gary.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And chocolate sometimes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Is that good for the voice, chocolate?
Not at all.
I'm not sure it would be.
But it's good for the soul.
It's easy to try and keep it away from this lot. Sarah, on a wider thing, you teach youngsters at a sort of higher level as well outside the school, don't you? Tell me about that.
I teach at the head of voice at the Junior Royal Academy of Music in London, which is the Saturday school, if you like, of the Royal Academy of Music. So lots of young aspiring professional singers, classical singers, go there to train and study before they go on to the conservatoires afterwards.
Is that a tough job? There can't be many openings for that sort of thing, is there?
It's a wonderful job.
How do you manage expectations, though?
You learn to treat the young musicians as very much teach the whole person, not just the instrument. So you teach them about the peaks and troughs of the business and the psychology of being a sort of a beaten up musician, the amount of no's they will hear, the amount of hard times they will fall upon, and if they still remain dogged and determined and they're training their voices properly, then usually you know that they're a dead cert to get somewhere in the business.
Becky, singing in the choirs at school, what does that give you? I mean, is it a break from the kind of day in, day out lessons, maths, English, sports and all of that?
Yeah, it's nice because as well as we have a lunchtime choir, well, we rehearse at lunchtime, but we usually do the big choir stuff at the end of the day, so it's really nice to finish lessons and then come into the music block and have a sing-song.
There is something about the sound of a choir in somewhere like a great church, in a great building that has sort of loads of room for the sound to reverberate around, that is quite unique, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's the most wonderful thing. And for an audience to hear, it's a beautiful thing. But when you're in the middle of it, and certainly for me as a conductor, we have for instance, our school end-of-year carol service, end of Christmas term carol service is always in Chichester Cathedral. And to stand in front of our choirs at that point, and we have our prep school choir and our senior choir, our chapel choir, the chamber choir, to stand in front of these willing, young, keen people and to see them singing their hearts out at Christmas is just the most wonderful thing. Usually reduces me and a fair other member of staff to tears.
What is it about then? It's just a human voice. I mean, there's not lots of fancy production here, lights, bangs, whistles, bells.
It's just the bare human voice. That's absolutely...
Why is that so moving?
You know that term, which is now a little overused, the X Factor.
Yeah.
In its true form, for me, there is something about the quality of human voices. I don't know, is it God-given? Is it something nature gives you this little instrument in here? If it's a decent instrument, or even just semi-decent, and it's trained well, and you begin to sing as a group, there is something so extraordinary. It becomes a world class in a good choir.
Right, let me just check with these two before they go. Ben, is this something you'd like to pursue in more detail, the singing, or is this just fun for now as one of the things you like to do at school?
Yeah, I would say it is. It's quite fun. It's quite nice to get together, sing songs, and hopefully in the future we will have more choristers to sing.
What's your favourite type of music to sing, or your favourite song?
Probably... Ooh, that's a hard one. Probably jazz, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Rock.
do you get to do solos quite a lot?
Yeah, I have had a couple.
Is that quite scary?
Yeah, it is for the first time.
Oh, he's just too cool for school, isn't he, really?
He's very...
Becky, what about you? I mean, tell me you're not going to leave all the singing behind once you leave the college.
No, I mean, it's been amazing training with Sarah. I mean, I've only been doing singing lessons with her recently because there's another singing teacher at Seaford College who I've also been training with. But I just love how kind of rudimental it is, and how it's quite disciplined.
How much practice do you do a week?
Well, I spend...
Be honest.
A lot of time singing at school, to be honest, because I've choir and singing lessons, but yeah, I practice at home. She makes me, she forces me.
Quite right too. You don't improve, you don't practice. How many times have I got to tell you? Becky and Ben, would you like to leave us in our studio and go next door? Thank you very much. Nice to meet you. Have a good fun tomorrow night. Just while I wrap up with Sarah, those two will go next door and join the rest of the Seaford College Choir. And how do you get the gig singing with Gary Barlow?
This is actually an extra date on his tour. So his tour was finishing this evening or last night, I think, and the tickets were sold, as you can imagine, like hotcakes. So they added in an extra date. We had somebody who knows of the choir or the choirs at school contacted the headmaster of the prep school and said, listen, I think your choirs deserve this opportunity, so come along and do this, and here we are.
Have they met Gary yet?
No, they're so excited.
More or less excited than you, Sarah?
Well, I am a little excited. I am very, very excited. I think what an opportunity. Many opportunities come our ways, but for someone who is so just so current in, and I know this sounds a little strange, but in all age groups, Gary Barlow, as you rightly said earlier on, sort of 20 years ago, Take That were huge and massive and whatever, and now then he had a slump, but still people who are Take That fans are massive Gary Barlow fans, and now he has a whole new following of young people. So every child that's been involved with this, who's told their parents, their grandparents, everyone in the family is excited for them.
I think they're ready to go. So are you conducting?
I'm afraid I am.
All right, you slope away as well. Sarah Reynolds, the head of voice and choirs at Seaford College Choir, and they're going to sing for us now. And this is the song that Gary Barlow wrote for the Queen's Jubilee the other year, and we saw the film as you went around the Commonwealth filming different people making up that big choir, and of course we saw that on the Mall on the Jubilee concert, didn't we? So I'll leave them with you in their own time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Seaford College Choir and their part of Sing.
Some words they can't be spoken, only sung. So here are 1,000 voices shouting love. There's a place, there's a time in this life when you sing what you are feeling. Find your feet, stand your ground. Don't you see right now the world is listening to what we say? Sing it louder, sing it clearer, knowing everyone will hear you. Make some noise, find your voice tonight. Sing it stronger, sing together, make this moment last forever. Old and young, shouting love tonight. To sing we've had a lifetime to wait. Wait and see 1,000 faces celebrate. We have to celebrate. You brought hope, you brought light, conquered fear. No, it wasn't always easy. Stood your ground, kept your faith. Don't you see right now the world is listening to what we say? Sing it louder, sing it clearer, knowing everyone will hear you. Make some noise, find your voice tonight. Sing it prouder, sing together, make this moment last forever. Old and young, shouting love tonight. Some words they can't be spoken, only sung. To hear 1,000 voices shouting love and peace and hope. Just sing, just sing, just sing, just sing. I wanna sing, knowing everyone will hear. Just sing, just sing, together, make this moment last forever. Here are 1,000 voices shouting love.
That was beautiful, wasn't it? Seaford College Choir and Sing. I tell you what, Gary Barlow had better be on good form to sing along and accompany them tomorrow night. So very good indeed. They'll be performing with Gary at the Bournemouth International Arena tomorrow night on his current tour. Seaford College Choir with us on BBC Sussex and BBC Surrey.
On BBC One.